desk. As you can see, on each side of the desk are 5 drawers. I'm going to go through each drawer and show you the way I've organized them. So let's get into the video. Starting with the right side of the desk, in this first top drawer, I've got all my lip balms, lip glosses, and lipsticks. In the second drawer, I've got all my lip liners and liquid lipsticks. In the third drawer, I've got all of my makeup brushes and makeup tools. Drawer number 5, I've got my nail polish collection. Starting with the left side of the desk, drawer number 1. This drawer has the setting sprays, primer, complexion products, so foundation, concealer, skin tints, setting powders, and then also my mascaras and brow products. Drawer number 2, we've got my bronzers, highlighters, face palettes, and Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. Drawer number 3, this is probably my favorite drawer out of all of them. These are my eyeshadow palettes from Sephora. Drawer number 4, this is my collection of Ulta eyeshadow palettes. Drawer number 5 coincides with drawer number 5 on the right side as well, so it's nail products again. So as you can see, I like to use clear containers. That way all my products are visible and I am not forgetting anything and I'm using up the products that I have. So these large rectangular containers are perfect for the depth of these drawers. I can organize my products in a way that they are all visible but organized. So I've got my favorite Morphe setting sprays here, a primer that I would like to try from e.l.f., and then my Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. In this container here, I've got a bunch of brand new products to me that I am going to test out. So I've got my favorite Tinted Blur foundation stick from Nude Sticks. I think that's the only foundation. Yes, it is. That's the only foundation I enjoy. I'm not a big foundation wearer. I am testing the Cali Ray Skin Tint and the Cali Ray Hideaway Under Eye Brightening Serum Concealer, Tower 28 Serum Concealer, Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. So those are brand new products to me that I am testing. The other skin product that I enjoy as a foundation is the Maybelline Super Stay Skin Tint and the Charlotte Tilbury, cannot remember the name, but it's a brightening skin tint. And then these longer rectangular containers are perfect for my brow and mascara products. So I've tried a few different ways of organizing these, but this turned out to be the best way. I had them in a display type of container where everything was lined up for me to just grab, but that became very annoying. Everything would just slide around and become one giant mess. So putting them into these containers works a lot better. I've got my favorite mascaras in here from YSL, a brown and a black. I am testing the new, what I would say is a dupe to the YSL mascara, the Lash Paradise. So I normally love the black color in this mascara, but I am testing this brown one. I've got some eyeliners, a tubing mascara, my Dior lash primer. This is actually my favorite eyeliner of all time. I have no idea how to pronounce any of this, but this is the best. I randomly received it in, I think, an Ipsy. It's a very comfortable, intense black liner. And then over here, I've got my favorite brow gels from Benefit and Nude Sticks, and my favorite brow pencils from Benefit, a soap brow from e.l.f. Randomly, I have the NYX Lift and Snatch brow tint pen, which I do not enjoy very much, but I also go through phases, so who knows? In a few months I may really enjoy it. My brows go through phases. This container here is probably my favorite container just because it has my favorite products, complexion products. So I've got my setting powders, my favorite setting powders. So my Laura Mercier is my number 1, and then I love my Givenchy, and then my Hourglass. And then this was a little gift from Sephora. This is the pink one size setting powder. I'm excited to try this. I've never tried it. And then here I've got my favorite palette from Stila. It's a brightening and corrector palette. It's so beautiful on the skin. It's exactly what I prefer in a complexion product. It's I use it with my fingers to apply to my skin. I just add a tiny bit. I'll do a video on it. So this drawer here also brings me so much joy every every time I open it. It's got my favorite Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. Out of all my eyeshadows, they are some of my favorite, the best quality, which it took me a while to understand the formulas and the uniqueness to her palettes. At first I was like, they're not that big of a deal. You may be wondering, why in the world, if they're your favorite, would you be willing to tuck them away? Because I've got one here, and then one in the back. But I can do that with products like these, such as these, because they are my absolute favorite and I will not forget about them. When I go to select what makeup I'm going to use that day or what makeup I'm going to film that day, I will not forget that they're there. I've got the, what is this? Divine Rose 2 palette, which looks like this. I love it so much. I am such a pinky red eyeshadow lover. Pinks, reds, purples, golds, browns, I love them all. But this right here is my favorite shade. I use it all the time. Well, it's not a shade. It's like a glitter topper. It's so pretty. It's so unique. This is my favorite. I love to top any eyeshadow look with this. I love this palette. The next palette I have, I was searching for the name. I forget that they're right here. So this is the Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction. I love this palette. I am so happy I picked this one. When I picked my next two palettes from Pat McGrath, I could not make up my mind, but this ended up being one of them, and I'm so happy I selected it. This is what it looks like. I love it so much. I have created the same eye look or different variations of a look I like with this palette so many times. I had to stop myself from using it over and over and over because I need to use all of what I have and change it up. Anyways, I love this palette. I need to create the looks I love from this palette on my channel. I knew no matter what, this was going to be one of the products I picked because I've wanted this one the most for so long. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership. I forget what number that is. Sunlit Seduction. Is that number 12, I think? I could be wrong, but it doesn't matter because it's the Sunlit Seduction palette, and this is so me all day long. It's such a gorgeous palette. I've wanted this specific palette for so long. I am especially excited for this red shade. Red is my favorite color of all time in real life, in makeup, in nail polish, in everything, in clothes, especially in eyeshadow and lip liners. I love red. Anytime a red eyeshadow is included in a story, I have to have it. So anyways, this is the color I'm excited to create a look with. I'm excited for the whole palette. This is totally my type of dream eyeshadow palette. So that is that. Oh, and by the way, I did not save. I got rid of the packaging that you see on these palettes for the Divine Rose 2, and I regret it so badly. I wish I would have kept it, but I did not. I got rid of it because I thought it was bulky and wasteful, but now I wish I would have kept it as a collector's item. Next, in this drawer, I've got my favorite face palettes. So this is probably my favorite face palette. Well, it is my favorite face palette of all time. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit palette in the leopard, and it's definitely one of my favorite makeup products of all time. I'm so happy that I finally got one. I love it so much. I love the way my complexion looks when I use these products. So you've got 3 blushes, a highlighter, a setting powder, and a bronzer. And then here we've got my powder bronzers. So my favorite powder bronzers, I've got the NARS Original Laguna, Too Faced Sweethearts Sweet Tea bronzers, I think the name. The Glowish by Huda. I love this. This bronzer, powder bronzer, reminds me so much of this bronzer. That's why I had to get it. As you may know, this bronzer is no longer made, which is so sad. It's my favorite bronzer of all time. It's what got me into bronzer, this product right here. I used to have a few of them. I had like a few at a time, but I would always use the darker shade for my bronzer, lighter shade for my highlight on my nose and my cheeks. But I would always run out of the bronzer first, and then I just would get rid of the product, and I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I would have saved all of them because they no longer make it, and it is my favorite bronzer of all time. And like I said, it's what got me into bronzer and just changing my complexion. And then over here are my liquid products of highlight and bronzers. So a lot of this stuff is brand new to me. So this is my tried and true favorite bronzer of all time. This is right here with these products. Oh, I didn't even go over highlight I have over here. This is such a pretty highlight from Stila. I really like it. I forget about it though. I don't reach for it as often as I should, but it's such a pretty highlight from Stila, and it's on the powder. It's a powder, so, well, it's so weird. I don't know. It's like a powder putty. Maybe that's why I don't reach for it as much. But one thing about this product is you have to use your finger to apply it. When you use a brush or anything else, I don't know. I haven't tried a sponge, a triangle puff, I mean. My favorite way to use this product is with my fingers. That's what gets it to show up a lot better. And then, as I was saying, this is my tried and true bronzer that I am obsessed with. I haven't found very many liquid, cream, or balm bronzers that I like other than this. This is the perfect bronzer. It goes so well with my skin. I'm such a skincare fanatic, and anything I use on my skin has to look very skin-like. So this is why this product right here is perfect for me and my skin. Especially, I know it works for oily and dry skin, but I have dry skin, so I was going to say especially for my dry skin. My two holy grails right here. I've been tempted so many times to get rid of my Nude Sticks highlight, but it's such an OG of mine. It was, I think, my first ever holy grail type of highlight. I went through another, and this has been my second tube, but I just never use it that much anymore. So the rest of the products here are new to me, and I need to continue testing them. So I've got Makeup by Mario, what is this, liquid bronzer, soft sculpt bronzing and shaping serum. The Say serum bronzer, Tom Ford. I've wanted this for so long, and I got it on a huge sale. I will say, first impressions, I am not liking it, and it's kind of a regret, but I'm going to continue to learn. These containers are always so confusing. Okay. I was mixing it up with the Patrick Ta containers on the way they open. But anyways, I wanted it so badly because I thought this highlight would be perfect for the way I like to do my makeup. I'm super into very lightweight skincare type of complexion makeup. And so I thought this would be perfect for me, but I'm not as impressed with it right now. That may change over time as I get used to it. But yeah, so the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Contour Duo in Intensity 1. So yes, this is drawer 2, and I love this drawer mostly because it has my Pat McGrath, my Hourglass, my favorite powder bronzers, and my favorite balm bronzer. Oh, you know what though? I didn't even go over this product. I love this. I don't love it as much as I used to. I don't reach for it as much as I used to. I used to reach for it all the time, but this is the Cheek the Mail from Benefit, and I loved it so much because it has the cookie highlight, which is one of my favorite highlights. I love this square container and then this rectangle. I like changing it up and seeing a different style of container in the drawers, so I love this simple square compact container, especially when it houses my favorite go-to products. So yeah, I have the smaller square, which works perfectly because then it leaves room for my Hourglass face palette to sit up here. That way it's so easy to grab and for me to see, kind of tilted up. Brings me so much happiness seeing this. But if I don't have it front and center tilted up like that, I will forget about it. I often forget about the blushes, which I need to use more often because they're like some of my favorite blushes. I need blushes that are foolproof. I go overboard with blush very easily, so I really like that you can't do that with these blushes. And moving on to the third drawer, which is probably my favorite drawer and favorite makeup out of all of my makeup that I own. This one brings me so much happiness and joy. These are my Sephora eyeshadow palettes, and I love them so much. You can probably see why I chose the organization for this drawer. So I chose display style organizers. So I have them on display racks, wanting to display how beautiful each palette is. The way I've organized it also helps me to see each palette, and none of them are covered, none of them are hidden, aside from the Too Faced palette back there. It's kind of hidden, but that's okay for that palette because I will not forget about it. It's my oldest first eyeshadow palette, and it's the eyeshadow palette that, in fact, let me just grab it so you can see what I'm talking about. This palette right here is tucked away, and like I was saying, it's okay that it is because I won't forget about it. I could see it peeking through back there, and it is my oldest, most used eyeshadow palette. I used to use it all the time. As you can see, I've hit pan on a few shades, or I'm close to hitting pan on a few more. But yeah, I won't forget about this. So this is fine being tucked away. In fact, I'm excited for the upcoming fall season to create some more looks with this. This is one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes of all time. So up front in the first display organizer, I've got my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palettes, which all three of these are my favorite, but these two being my most favorite. Right next to my Charlotte Tilbury stuff is my Danessa Myrick section. And then of course my Natasha Denona section, which has quickly become my favorite formulas of all time. She's right there with Pat McGrath. Her and Pat McGrath are my favorite. And then right there with Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona specifically is this Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. That is just as good as the Natasha Denona larger palettes and the Pat McGrath palettes. Although I do prefer the mattes of Natasha Denona and Makeup by Mario over Pat McGrath. And another thing I've learned as well is that I prefer the large palettes, and I will no longer spend money on these smaller palettes. I've learned that I need the larger palettes because they have the glitterly I prefer the larger palettes because they contain the sparkle shades, and those are my favorite. My favorite way to do eyeshadow looks are matte eyeshadows with sparkle toppers. I will use a sparkle topper before a, what are they called? Foiled topper. Oh, and then also, let's not forget my YSL eyeshadow quad is here, and this has also quickly become a favorite. I love this. I was so afraid that I had regretted splurging on YSL, but this is such a go-to staple for me. If I want to create a quick eye look that's perfect for an outing, it looks so good. This specific color story, again, so me, pinky, purple, mauve, brown, tan, looks so good on my eyes. I've grabbed it so many times. And then I've got my Anastasia palettes back there, which are also my favorite. So as you can see, all of this drawer is my favorite, but definitely my tops, well, you know what? I can't even, they're all so good. They're all good. I favor them all in some unique way. Also, this is not on a container. Oh, I don't think you've ever seen. This is one of my newer palettes. This is the Danessa Myrick's Groundwork Blooming Romance palette. And as you can see, totally up my alley. Love, love, love. The formula, I would say though, this is a very difficult formula to get used to. I've created many looks just testing this palette, but I've yet to perfect looks with this palette. I love the packaging though. I love it so much. It kind of reminds me of this, just in purple. But anyways, this is my Sephora eyeshadow drawer organization. Again, I love using the display type of organizers to easily grab and find what I'm looking for, but also to display the beautiful palettes. Moving on to the fourth drawer, this is again another eyeshadow drawer. So most of these products are from Ulta, but I've also got the Bailey Sarian Fatally Yours eyeshadow palette here. I love Bailey Sarian. I had to get this palette. I love the looks she creates. I'm excited to create some looks with this palette. So I've got it organized again with display type organizers. I love these eyeshadow duos from Milani. And then I've got some About Face eye paints and my favorite Juvia's Place eyeshadow palette there. Some baby wipes. They're always good to keep on hand here at the desk. Here is another angle of this drawer. As I said, display type organizers. Honestly, nothing too exciting. This drawer will probably be decluttered over time. Aside from a few of these products, nothing really excites me. I do enjoy my Milani eyeshadow duos. I'm excited to use my About Face fluid eye paint and the Milani eyeshadow sticks, but other than that, oh, and then of course, as I said, the Bailey Sarian. Most of the other items I'll probably declutter or decant and keep what I do like out of the palettes. So this drawer is not very exciting, and that is how I organized it. liked it. Moving on to the bottom, the fifth and final drawer of the left side of the desk. This, as you can see, is perfectly organized to my liking. I've got a larger rectangle container here that contains my nail glue and my press-on nails and some alcohol pads. I've also got my hand creams here and cuticle oil along with a nail treatment, my nail tools here, and some more alcohol pads, and then all of my favorite nail polish removers. So I've got the Q-Tex remover pads, those are great. The Olive and June nail polish remover pots, those are great. And then the Light Slacker polish potion remover. This drawer gets used very often. Lila and I like to do our nails throughout the week. Oh, and then I completely forgot, in the very back you can see my gel polishes. Lila and I used to do our nails all the time with the gel polishes and LED light, but we noticed over time that it would weaken our nails badly. So we pretty much switched to what is now our favorite, the press-on nails with either glue tabs or the brush-on nail glue from Olive and June is very, very gentle on the nails. Oh, and then I also have two little baggies here of cotton balls. That Pretty Nude Sticks baggie has some more alcohol pads with some Q-tips, just miscellaneous nail care items. Moving on to the matching drawer. This is the fifth and bottom drawer of the right side of the desk, and as you can see, this is my nail polish collection. This drawer brings me so much happiness. I love my nail polish collection. I love the way I've organized it. I love the layout, and I love the different collections I own. I've got my fall collection here in this container. Next to that, I've got my nail treatments and top coats along with my nail powders from Light Slacker. And then this row is all my sparkly toppers from Light Slacker. I forget what these are called, little things let's see, gems or sticker, no, 3D type things I can glue to my nail. These are so cute. And then the next row up, I've got my nudie neutral colors. This next container here, I have my spring collection, so my pastels. And then beyond that, I've got my summer collection. I've got the reds. Let me pull them all out. Here is my fall collection. This is very me. I want to say this is probably the first collection that came together out of all my polishes. I've got some reds, of course, a beautiful brown. I would say that's more of like an espresso brown. Let's see what it's called. Oh, totally makes sense because the name is called Cold Brew Crew. Matilda on video. I love her nail videos. I would say she's definitely inspired me to get back into nail polish, but I saw her use this shade in one of her videos and I knew I had to have this, which I feel like greens can be hard to find. It's called Off Tropic from Essie. I also really like Essie polishes. I've got this beautiful blue. I feel like blues are hard to find as well. And then I've got this mauvey purple. This shade as well was inspired by Matilda on video. I saw her use a purple color just like this. Oh, I remember what it was called. OPI Clay Dreaming. And I remember that name so well because I wanted that polish so bad, that specific shade, but I believe they do not make it anymore. So I felt like this shade was close enough. Sally Hansen makes some of the best reds out there. I love the finish of them. These two reds I had to get for the names. I can also never have enough reds, but this one is called Put in the Patchwork. No. This one's called Put in the Patchwork. And then this one is called I'm Not Really a Waitress. Love these. But yes, when it comes to deep and true reds, I like Essie, OPI, and Sally Hansen. Moving on to the next collection. These are my nail treatments, base coat and top coat, and then also some powders from Light Slacker. The next collection, in the back row, I have the nudie, very pretty colors, neutral nudie colors. And then here in the front row, I have all my sparkly toppers. Pacifica has such a great formula. It dries super fast. You just have to use a top coat to stop it from chipping, but I love the formula. It reminds me of the Light Slacker formula. It dries incredibly quick. This sparkly topper here from Light Slacker called City of Stars. Lila and I are obsessed with this topper. I need to order another one. We're going to run out very soon. This shade right here, it's one of my favorites. The camera doesn't do it justice, but it's the prettiest like mauvey nudie color. I love these so much. I don't use them enough though. I really need to do my nails one day with these on them. This is called Das Expensive. I love it. Last spring, I was super excited to place an order with Lights Lacquer and build the majority of my spring collection. I especially love this yellow called Banana Split. I had to have this shade. I love it so much. It's called 52 Chevy. It's a mint green. These two shades here are from the Boba Tea collection and they have such cute names. This one's called Lavender Latte and this one here is Matcha Tea. I believe these three shades are from the Cat's Diner collection. This is actually part of that boba collection I was speaking about. I've got 3 of the 4 shades and this blue one is called Butterfly Milk. This collection here is probably my favorite collection of the bunch. I am obsessed with the reds, the pinks, and the corals. ILNP is an amazing nail polish brand. Their polishes are so gorgeous. The colors are so vibrant and amazing on camera. These two here, I got lucky and found these perfect shades that I was on the hunt for with this brand, and they are some of my absolute favorites. They are so gorgeous. So I've got a peachy, neon peachy shade and a neon coral shade. I love it so much. This brings me so much happiness. Look at this. I've organized this drawer aesthetically as opposed to in order of seasons. So my summer collection goes in the back. And then next, I'm placing my spring collection. And then I place my nudies and sparkle topper shades here. Last but not least, with this collection here being so much darker than the rest, aesthetically it looks good, kind of being separated from the rest of the groups. Here in the front, with the buffer being the nail treatment section, and then I just place my darker stickers here with the darker polishes. I need to figure out a fun project or fun ways to use all my cute stickers of my favorite brands. So placing my Lights Lacquer sticker here in between the pinky and reds. Super cute sticker here with the fall collection. And my puffy nail art stickers that are my favorite over here with the colors they go with. So yes, here is my nail polish collection and organization. As you can see, it's so aesthetically pleasing, so fun and exciting to open this drawer and pick my polish. It's such a huge part of the experience for Lila and I. Finally moving on to the next drawer up, which is the 4th drawer. As you can see, this is my blush collection. I've got all the blush organized by colors. The rows are different colors. And I've also put my favorite colors up here in the front. I've got more of my skin tone nudie colors here, my tanner browner shades here. That's what this row is. And then I've got my reds here. These 2 rows of colors are my absolute favorites. And then I've got 2 rows of peaches or orange shades here. Beyond the 2 rows of peach/orange, I've got the pinker leaning shades, and then the very last row all the way in the back are my berry toned blushes. So these here are the first 2 rows of the drawer. I've got my tan bronzy shades here, and then my nudie close to my skin color shades here. My favorites from this collection here are Cover FX Warm Honey and Merit Fox. This one is brand new to me and I am so excited to have it. It's been sold out online, but I found it at one of the Sephora's here in Raleigh. It's called Fire Moon from House Labs and I love this formula. I have her red shade of this. I am such a lover of browns and this is one of my favorite browns of all time, Fox from Merit. The formula is also the best. It's my favorite, one of my favorite formulas ever. Cover FX is pretty new to my collection, but I'm so happy I picked a couple of these up when they were 50% off. The formula on these are absolutely the best. They are super buttery soft and not patchy whatsoever, especially the highlight is great as well. They're both formulas are perfect, but I especially love this because a lot of times when you see duos like this, one will be better than the other, but these are equally great formulas and gorgeous on the skin. If you are obsessed with the way your skin looks and you want something that's going to sit so pretty and complement your skin, this is the formula to go with. And I'm just obsessed with this warm honey color. These formulas right here are the top formulas, in my opinion, of my collection. With Cover FX being the #1 formula, these two tying for second, the Milk Makeup Jelly Tints and Merit Flush Balms. And then the Makeup by Mario Soft Pop Blush Sticks. These are really good as well. Plus, I'm obsessed with this red. This is my favorite red of my whole blush collection. As you can see, these are my red leaning shades. This is also very loved in my collection. This is a red blush stick from Persona that I love as well. And I'd say that these are my least favorite formulas or colors from my collection. I know people are obsessed with the Patrick Ta blushes, but I just don't favor the formula at all. I don't know if it's because I'm not a big foundation person, but I'm guessing that's why, because I'm not obsessed with the formula like others are. And I want to say most people that come to mind that I watch on YouTube, the ones that are obsessed with this love foundation. And then when it comes to this, I think it's the shade. He doesn't have a shade I'm obsessed with in these. I just don't care for this formula. And also this red leans very orange. And then my next two rows are my orange peachy shades here. Peach/orange goes very well with my medium warm skin tone. And then out of those two rows, these are my favorite formulas and shades. This is one of my absolute favorite shades, but it's not my favorite formula. From the collection, these are my least favorite formulas. The Honest Beauty blush is just so thick. I love this shade from Danessa Myricks. It is called Bellini, but it always comes off patchy or thick, but I'm going to keep trying because this color is gorgeous. The next row we have are the Pinky and Lilac shades. These are my absolute favorite formulas and shades from this collection. We've got the Merit Flush Balm, the Physicians Formula Butter Blush, Benefit in Willa, Persona Powder Blush, and Milk Makeup Jelly Tint. And then my absolute favorites of this favorite collection, Physicians Formula Butter Blush. This color, the shade, and formula, it's so buttery soft and it smells so good. That's my favorite powder. And then the shade Cheeky. I love this shade so much. The formula and stain of the Milk Makeup Jelly Tints. They are so gorgeous on the skin, especially topped with setting powder. And then last but not least, my berry collection. Naughty and Spice has been one of my favorite shades for years. It's gorgeous. So 4 out of the 6 are my favorite formulas and shades, with the Rhode formula probably being my absolute favorite, although I really love these two formulas as well, the Tower 28 and Pure Nude Baked Blush from Essence. Say not my absolute favorite formula, but the shades are just so pretty. I'm actually going to move the pink tones to the back of the drawer and move the berry tones up one because I'm just so excited to use them. So I actually decided to rearrange the rows completely. I moved the 2 peach rows all the way to the back just because they are impossible for me to forget about. They are the shades that match my skin tone, go with my skin tone the best. And then also the nudies and the bronzy shades are impossible for me to forget about because they are my favorites. So they are third to last. And then my reds here in the middle, my absolute favorites. And I did that because it's just aesthetically pleasing to go from red to nudie and bronze shades and then my peach. And then next to the reds, I have the pink tones, which in doing this, I feel like they're the tones that I'm least excited about right now. And I think a big part of that is because throughout the years, I've used them probably the most out of all my shades. Or maybe more so in the beginning of me getting into makeup, I went for pinks. As I said before, I'm super excited, maybe because fall is coming. My love for berry tones has reignited, and I'm super excited to use these more often and to create looks, implement them into my makeup looks, especially the Say and Road. By the way, the Road shade I have is Sleepy Girl. And I haven't talked much about the Tower 28, what are these called? Beach Please Cream Balm Blushes, but these are some of my favorites as well. I fell for these formulas so fast. I really like the formula. And that's Party Hour, and this is the shade that I wanted the most from the line. It's a red coral shade called Happy Hour. Also, I wanted to note that it has been very tempting to organize in the way that all my favorites would be, my favorites being favorite colors or favorite formulas. It's been very tempting to move them all up front and then putting my least favorites in the back. In fact, I feel like I used to organize that way, but I find that doing it this way, I'm not going to neglect anything and I'm going to use up products as I should. It just makes it a lot easier when I'm going to create a look and I'm selecting whatever color it is that I'm looking for to have them organized by color. All right, so moving on to the next drawer. As you can see, this is my drawer of makeup brushes and tools, for the most part organized by brand. So I've got my Real Technique brushes here, BK Beauty Classic brushes here, BK Beauty by Nikki LaRose brushes here, and then my Refer eye brushes here, and my Refer face brushes here, and then my dual-ended brushes here from Makeup by Mario, Patrick Ta, and Hourglass. So these are some of my favorite brushes. I use this brush almost every single time I do my makeup. I have this container sitting on top of these 3 containers with all of these brushes facing this way. That way I can still see the brushes. And then this container only covers the bottom of the brushes, so I can see my collection and reach for whatever I need. And then here I've got my triangle puffs, my sponges. It's funny because so often I am tempted to get rid of these brushes just because they don't belong to a collection, but I have to stop myself every single time because they are some of my, they are random brushes, but they are some of my favorite brushes. This is a Nude Sticks brush, dual-ended brush. Actually, that should probably go there. Huh, okay, yeah, that will go there. I don't know though, because it's a smaller brush and I like the brands of these to go together. These are Sephora brands, so I'm gonna keep those separate and keep this with my random brushes. This is a brush from Smashbox. This is a Nude Sticks brush, and then this is great for liquid or cream blushes. This is an e.l.f. Putty Blush brush. Oh, and then randomly, this is a Wet n Wild eyeshadow brush. So I face them this way. Huh, that Nude Sticks tried to sneak into this cubby. I face them all this way, that way I can stack this little cubby of brushes here. These are so random, but some of my absolute favorite. They used to come with the Too Faced contour palette. I wish they would bring it back. I started off learning to do my bronzer with these brushes and they give the prettiest effect. Very last cubby back there, that is my tool cubby. So I've got scissors, I've got mixing palettes and some mixing tools, and then tweezers. And then in the very, very back of the drawer, I have one of those brush cleaners where you just... So all the way back here, I have this, the blush color removal. So in between cleaning my makeup brushes, I can use this to remove the color, especially out of eyeshadow brushes. So I've got that there in the back. And like I said, some scissors, some tweezers, and different tools. I'm super happy with the organization of these brushes. I love organizing them by brands as opposed to categories of brushes, just because I know my brushes better through the brand. So if I have them together as a brand, it's just easier for me to remember what's there. Moving on to the second drawer. So these last 2 drawers are some of my favorite products in makeup. So this is my lip liner drawer organization, and I have gone through reorganizing this over and over again, and this is what I ultimately came to, and I'm really happy with it. So I used to have my liquid lipsticks all the way in the back with all of my lip liners organized up front, but I found that I was forgetting too often about my liquid lipsticks, and I want to remember to use them in my looks that I create, especially because I love them. They're only from Kylie. I only have Kylie liquid lipsticks because they come in the lip liner kits, and her kits and liners are my absolute favorites. So I moved them up front, and then I have all my lip liners organized into colors. So there's nothing in the very back anymore the way I used to have it organized. And like I said, I was forgetting too often that I had these back there. All right, so now I'm going to show you each color category and the way I've organized them. So up front, I've got my favorites, of course. I've got my reds here being my absolute favorite, my nudie colors here, my brown nudie colors here. Here in the middle, I've got my pinky shade, my berry tones. These right here are actually some of my favorite Kylie lip liners, and I feel like they're their own category. They're not necessarily one tone. I love her tones. That's what I love about her brand. And then I've got the orange leaning fall type colors here in this cubby on top, stacked on top. So I wanted to keep this drawer aesthetic, of course, but also I wanted to have it make sense. So aesthetically and logistically, this is how it turned out, and I'm happy with it. So this drawer in particular is also another one of the drawers that I've gone through a million different iterations of the way I organized it. So I started off with display type organizers, and I loved it because I could see every single gloss and pick exactly what I wanted for whatever look I was creating, or just whatever gloss I wanted to use that day. Ultimately did not work out because it would just become messy and they would fall down. I would constantly have to pick them up and fix them. And then I also used to have them organized by brand. So I would keep all the brands together and organize them that way with both the display type organizers and then also these cubbies. But most recently I reorganized it, and I feel like this is what works best, by color categories. I've got my orange and peach shades here, my nudie colors here, my brown colors there, my reds here, my berry tones here, my pinky shades here, and then my darker mauvey pinky tones here, and then my Laneige lip treatments here, along with two of my lipsticks here. They're two of my favorite, and I like separating them from these lipsticks here because these are all dark packaging that go well together, and this is obviously lighter and gray packaging that I love, and I did not want to mix them with that, so I felt like that was the perfect container for them to sit in. So these lipsticks aren't necessarily organized by color, although it did work out because these are reds and browner shades, with these being, this is a red and this is like a nudie color. So as you can see, the best containers for this drawer ended up being the smaller little cubbies, not the little square ones, but these like half rectangle 1/3 type of organizers. So these two worked perfectly for these colors in particular, since I have the most reds and the most berries. And then I didn't necessarily organize this by color favorites, but I did make sure to have my reds up front. Also, notice the contrast of my desk and chair. I love it so much. It's very aesthetically pleasing. But okay, now that is it for today's video. Please leave your thoughts and loves down below in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Also, please support my channel by subscribing and clicking that like button. See you in the next video. Bye now.